Hey there, welcome back to the Millennial Book Junkie. My name is Monique, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the books that I'm going to be reading in July of 2025. Now, if you're anything like me, you have a book of the month subscription and you just let the books come and then you fill your shelf with them and you never make time to read them. So this month, I plan to read all of the book of the month books that have been sitting on my shelf. July is going to be solely book of the month books, and I'm really excited because it fits in with exactly what I think that I can try to read this month. I have exactly 8 unread book of the month books on my shelf. So I read 8 books last month. So my goal is to power through these 8 book of the month books. Let's get into them and we'll see how this goes. The first book of the month book that I'm reading in July is The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. This book follows a young woman who is a ghostwriter, but she has an interesting past. Her father is a horror novel writer, but when her father was younger, he witnessed the death of both of his siblings, his younger sister and his younger brother. And to this day, they don't know if he killed his siblings or if someone else killed his siblings. And so while this young woman was growing up, the daughter of the guy who watched his siblings die, she was like always trying to forget her past because her dad was like this, suspected killer and also very, very popular horror novelist. And she didn't want to have anything to do with him. He wasn't the best father, so she wanted to separate himself. But one day, because she works as a ghostwriter, he calls on her to write his final novel, his final memoir, where he's ready to tell all about what happened in 1975 when his siblings died. So this one sounds really, really good. I'm curious to read it and see what was going on in the 70s. I love 70s era novels, so I'm really excited about this one. Have you read this one already? Let me know. The next book of the month book I'm reading in July is Dearest by Jackie Walters. This book follows a mom named Flora who has just given birth to a new baby girl named Iris. Her husband is still deployed. He's not coming home until the baby's going to be about 6 weeks old. So she has all this time to herself to raise this new infant. And she's kind of like, what is my life right now? So she's trying to adjust to this new life as a mom, going through all the motions. She's very sleep deprived. She has all these different, things going on with her body, of course, after just giving birth. And her husband is not there, and weird stuff starts happening. She starts thinking that someone's speaking to the baby through the baby monitor. She starts seeing things that aren't really there. And then even later, which makes absolutely no sense to her, her mom shows up at her door wanting to help, and she has not spoken to her mom in 5 years. And she's like, what are you doing here? And then when her mom comes in to help, even scarier things start happening, and she starts to wonder whether her mom is behind all this evil. So this one sounds really good. It sounds really dark. It looks really dark. There's a creepy girl on the cover. I can't wait to read this one. The third book I plan to read from Book of the Month is Sleep Tight by J.H. Markert. This book follows a serial killer named Father Silence. Basically, this guy dressed up as a priest and went around killing people because, of course, priests are people that you can trust, or you should be able to. And so he was making people feel very vulnerable, and he would then kill them. Eventually, this Father Silence guy gets caught and he gets put away, and 20 years later, he gets put to death. Well, the day after he gets put to death, the detective who caught this guy dies. And not only does he die, but the person who killed him claims to be this new serial killer called the Outcast. So the detective that died by this new serial killer Outcast, his daughter, Tess, is now on the hunt trying to figure out who this new serial killer is. But then her daughter gets kidnapped. So things are just all over the place, and she's trying to figure out what was going on. I can't wait for this, but this does remind me a little bit of Long Legs. I don't know if y'all have seen that one, but that one was really spooky. It did kind of involve priest-like things. So this one sounds good, sounds scary. I hope I get scared, but hopefully in the good way. So we'll see. The next book I'm reading in July is A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall. I've never read any Kate Alice Marshall, so we'll see how this goes. This book is about a woman named Theodora Scott who meets a very wealthy man named Connor, and I'm assuming falls in love with him. And then she goes to meet his parents, and I think weird things start happening when she goes to meet his parents. The first of which is that she finds a picture of herself as a child at the place where she's staying, where she's meeting the parents. I think in the same town where Connor grew up. And she's also getting weird stuff happening to her. People are calling her. She's seeing weird messages that she needs to like leave Connor immediately. But I'm pretty sure when she finds a picture of herself in a place where she's never been, I'm pretty sure that takes the cake. I'm sure that definitely gets her leaving Connor, hopefully. So I've heard some people talk about this book that they didn't really like it, but I've never read any K. Alice Marshall, so I'm going in with an open mind and we'll see how it goes. The fifth book I'm reading in July is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I've only read one Alice Feeney book, and that was Rock, Paper, Scissors, and I loved it. I have heard mixed reviews because I've heard this book is a lot like Rock, Paper, Scissors, and maybe not in a good way, but this book follows a man who is having like the best day ever, a really, really great day, and he calls his wife, but then like while she's talking to him, she's in this car and like she hits something, and you know, he's talking to her on the phone and she's like, I'm gonna go investigate like what I just hit or something. And he's like, no, don't get out of the car. She gets out of the car and then she dies. So he basically finds her car on this cliff. The door is open, but she's dead. She's missing. Well, I think maybe she's presumed dead. I don't know. But then he's like, okay, I need to go and take this retreat because I'm depressed. I lost my wife. I need to go, you know, reassess my life. So he goes and he takes this retreat. But where he goes, he sees someone that looks exactly like his wife. So I'm hoping that we get a really good twist with this one. Like I said, I have heard kind of mixed reviews about it, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited to read it because I really did like Rock, Paper, Scissors, so maybe I'll like this one. We'll see. So this is the sixth book that I plan to read in July. It's Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. We'll see if I get to 6. We'll see if I get to 8. I don't know. We'll see. But this is the next book I'm reading in July. And I have read only one other book by Gillian McAllister, and that was Wrong Place, Wrong Time. And I really enjoyed that one. So I'm hoping that I enjoy this one. This book is about a new mother named Camilla, and it's the longest day of the year. It's June 21st. She's been on maternity leave. She is, for the very first time, dropping her daughter off at infant care. And one morning, I don't know if it's this morning or morning after or something like that, but one morning she wakes up and her husband is not beside her, and he leaves her this note on the pillow. We don't know what it says. We got to read the book to find that out. But she turns on the news and she finds out there's this hostage situation going on downtown or wherever she lives. And the guy who's taking all these people hostage is actually her husband. Her doting, loving husband is taking people hostage downtown for God knows why. So this looks interesting. I really liked the last one that I read. It was very fast paced, very like twisty. I liked the ending. You know, I've had some time to process it. I think I probably should have rated it higher than I actually did. This one looks really good. So I'm hoping to like this one just as much as I liked Wrong Place, Wrong Time. We shall see. Have you read this one? Let me know. The next book I'm going to read in July is called The Man Made of Smoke by Alex North. This would be my very first Alex North novel. I've never read anything by Alex North. This is about a young man who, or when he was a young boy, he witnessed a crime. He had an encounter with a serial killer as a young boy. And, you know, he grew up, he escaped, but then his father dies. And as he goes to investigate, you know, what happened to his father, it turns out that he might have to relive everything that he narrowly escaped as a child. There might be another monster living in his midst. He grows up to be someone who really is like a criminal profiler, and he tries to help innocent people. So we'll see what happens when he goes to figure out what happened to his dad and whether or not he is, you know, having to, I don't know, fight for his life again as he did as a child. So I'm really excited about this one. It seems kind of dark and mysterious. Have you read anything by Alex North? I have not. So I'm really, you know, I don't even know what to expect here. So I'm looking forward to it. The next book I'm reading in July is The King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. I loved Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby, and I have not read any of his other books, so I'm really, really excited for the chance to dig into his next, most latest release here in The King of Ashes. This book follows a man named Roman, who's a very talented financial advisor. He's really good at numbers. He's really good at, making his clients rich. And he gets a call from his sister that his dad has been in a hit and run accident and his dad is in a coma. Well, his dad was running a crematory business. That's like the family business. He had this crematory. But when Roman goes back to see his family after he finds out what happened to his father, he finds out that maybe this hit and run with his dad was not an accident. So he's kind of try to investigate with his sister, like, what is going on here? But there's also another layer to this story because actually his mom disappeared when they were younger. So now it becomes a story of, can Roman and his sister come together and figure out what happened with the dad, what happened with the mom, and save their family before inevitably their family turns to ash. King of Ashes. So this one sounds really, really good. I'm really, really excited. I miss S.A. Cosby's writing, and I am just really, really praying that I can dig into this in July. So we will see. So those are all the books that I hope to read in July. I'm really excited that there's a theme to them. I'm really excited that they're all book of the month books, and they're all relatively recent. I'm pretty sure I've got them like within the last 6 or 7 months. And that's always exciting because people are still talking about them, because they're relatively new. So I'm so excited to dig into them. Have you read any of those? I would love to know. And also tell me what you're reading in July. I would also love to know that so I can add more stuff to my TBR. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.